Before the weekly analysis begins, I just want to let you know that I do have a Patreon page. We have two tiers available. The first tier is called Start Off for £15 a month, and what you will receive is access to a Discord server containing the beginners, intermediate, and advanced course, risk management course for Elliot Wave trading, as well as financial literacy content. This tier is also for those who want to learn at their own pace and generally just support what I do and just join a community of like-minded traders. The second tier that I have is called the Waveologist for £35 a month, and what you receive is everything that I mentioned above with the addition of specific chart requests for me to annotate on a daily and weekly time frame, and one-to-one support or group sessions depending on how many people have subscribed to this tier. The group or one-to-one sessions are for those people who want a little bit of extra help with their Elliot Wave education, and also give the opportunity to ask me as many questions. Please do keep in mind that these are going to be 1 hour sessions depending on how many people have subscribed, and also I would say please do consider joining. It is really good value for money, and without further ado, let's get into the analysis. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, guys. This is going to be my Elliot Wave count for pound yen, pound dollar, and gold. But first of all, any views, opinions, or suggestions that are expressed in this video do not constitute to trading or financial advice. So let's get started here on pound yen. So obviously from previous videos I did say we're going to eventually sort of come back down, and we eventually did come back down nice. And where we are currently is we're in this sort of fifth wave in terms of the higher degree, or the higher time frame. We are in this fifth wave sort of impulse move, or this last fifth wave move to the upside. And where we see this market going, well, in terms of what we've seen so far, we've seen a strong rally since the beginning of 2023, and it's been continuously going up with this pair. We've also had recent news on interest rates, where interest rates of the UK where they're quite strong, and we have also interest rates of the Japan which were quite weak. So in this bias, I would suggest, or I would assume that pound yen will be a bit more bullish. Now, at the same time, we are coming towards that sort of finishing fifth wave. However, at the same time, we are in this sort of wave four. So let's just go on here. Sorry. Let's just go on here and just check the sort of smaller time frame. So we have a essentially an A, B, and a C right here, and that could basically give us our wave W. Okay, that could be a wave W. Um, and what we come up here for is essentially a move, or it could be the start of an impulse move to the upside to continue going to the upside, or this could also be another three-wave move coming back down to give us a WXY correction, and then that will complete our wave four. Now, I'm going to be taking it at one wave at a time, and I would assume that this wave 4 has been completed right here. And what we have currently is an impulse move, a huge impulse move in 5 waves here, that is essentially bringing this market to the upside. And not just that, it has broken market structure right here. So that is perfect entry, and after that break of market structure, what do we see? We see a nice sort of correction coming back down. In terms of where we are in terms of here, what I would say is this is essentially wave one of the fifth and final leg, and we are coming down in an ABC or a WXY into a wave two. Wave two should reject between 50 to 61.8% of this entire wave, and it shouldn't go towards the start of wave one. Essentially, it shouldn't reach 100% of wave one. In terms of the sort of nitty gritty things and the smaller time frames, where we are currently in this market, well, we are in this bearishness, and I am assuming that we're going to get some sort of move towards the downsides around these levels. But at the moment, I would assume that we will sort of get one more push up here, and then one more push down, and then continue going to the upside like that. That's just one scenario. That's just the scenario that I have at the moment, that I kind of see it moving that way, and I'm going to try to profitize off of that. With that being said, there's always a possibility of the market eventually doing that and then coming all the way back down to take down these lows. And if that's the case, that's not a problem at all. It just basically means that essentially this wave 4 hasn't yet completed, and we are essentially going down one more time to touch those lows to complete that wave 4, if that makes sense, before we then get that move to the upside. But all in all, daily time frame is extremely bullish. The higher time frames are extremely bullish. We have a huge bullish breakout to the upside. I will be looking for the buys to the upside. That's just my personal preference. And yeah, that's the analysis on pound yen. So let's go into gold. Gold has been quite interesting. Now I'm going to give you guys two scenarios for this one as well. The first scenario is that where we are currently, especially with what I said previously, that some of the banks, I think I don't know, I forgot who it was. There was a bank that essentially said that they see gold heading towards 2,100 to 2,300 by the end of this year. Um, and we could essentially expect more bullishness to come to the upside. Now that's obviously one scenario, and obviously with that scenario, what we have here is essentially a wave one, a wave two, three, four, five into a wave one. Then we have a WXY into a wave two, and then we're essentially going to move to the upside and keep going up to the upside, and obviously hit those levels that the banks have said. Another possible scenario is that what we have essentially is a completion of this fifth wave here. So what we have here is something like a 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then a wave 5, and that's completed. And what we're seeing now is actually the decline. So we might expect gold to move to the downside. Now, the reason why I pull out this scenario is essentially because what we have here is quite impulsive. So we have a wave 1, wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3, ABC running flat into a wave 4, and then a nice fifth wave impulsive move to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What we currently have here is essentially a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and a wave 5 impulsively. Now, this wouldn't be considered as wave 1. This could be wave 1 slash wave A. Okay, and then what we have here is a wave 2 or a wave B. And what we're going to move up to is a wave 3 or a wave C. And if the wave C is in play and we get a rejection between 50 to 61.8% of this entire wave, then we should start to see the market eventually just drop to the downside. But all in all, I'd rather follow the big guys in the game, the big boys that play this game, and they are predicting that gold should rally much, much more higher. Yeah, so I'll be looking for more of the upside instead of the downside. But obviously, that's just two possible scenarios there. So that's gold. So let's go into pound dollar. Here's the annotations. And so gold pound dollar has been moving nicely. It hit that nice level which I mentioned before previously in previous videos, and we've seen that sort of sell off coming in. I hope if anyone did take any trades, I hope you guys did profitize off of that. I know I did. So yeah, man, we're doing good out here, alhamdulillah. And where do I see this market essentially going? So obviously, I did say that we have basically created a wave W, and we are essentially hitting going down correctively in a wave X. Now wave X will roughly hit around 50 to 61.8% of this entire wave. So in and around these levels here, we could possibly see these lows being taken down, or being taken, sorry, and then from there we might see one more push up to the upside. But that's just obviously the long-term foreseeable things. In terms of what we see now in the shorter time frame and the week to come, this is essentially my sort of take on it, is essentially that we're going to get this sort of to be a move to the upside in three waves. It could essentially be 1, 2, 3, then we get moved down, then move back up again, and then we shoot down again, something like that. I would say with this pair, in terms of the daily time frame, we have been quite essentially bullish since obviously 2022, October 2022, stuff like that. We've been extremely bullish. Even throughout this whole year, we've been extremely bullish. Um, and essentially, what we're seeing here is basically the continuation of that bullish momentum playing out. But before that bullishness still continues to go forward, we're going to get this sort of correction to come back in to give us a nice little entry to go long again for one last time. And then from there, once these, so I'm probably assuming that we might hit maybe the 140 level in terms of long-term foreseeable things. But at the same time, that's just one scenario. Another scenario is that we could actually be finished with this WXY, and we're actually going to be continuing going to the downside very, very strong. Um, and then that's essentially what that basically gives us is three waves here: 1, 2, 3. Then we should get 1, 2, 3 in three waves, and then we get one more move to the upside, which is fine. Okay. A WXY and A, B, C, or it could be a WXY into a complex correction or something like that. But nevertheless, in terms of where we are currently, we are quite bearish, and I will assume so. We will continue to go down a little bit more. I have to also say that the interest rates did come out as well. So this bearishness I wouldn't necessarily trust to go too far down. We might see some bullishness coming back in eventually to take out and continue going higher. If that's the case, that's fine. As you know, I did say that this is an A, B, C into W. We get another three waves down into an X, and then we get one more move to the upside to finish off. So I hope you guys like my analysis. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. I have a Patreon for all those people that are interested in mentorship. You guys will have access to my private Discord, and the link will be in the description down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys until the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.